inside the main structure will be the internal structure. Okay, so
And
let's go on.
it doesn't matter like if the main structure is broken one or twice, like it's in the bullish, it's not making higher highs. Maybe one high is lesser than the previous high. Does it matter?
So we obviously have to look at the structure in terms of the average movements. So sometimes what can happen is that uh, now there is disqualification sometimes, because this might be the structure which is happening, and now there comes this and goes up. So obviously, comparatively, see, the moves over here were having big retracements, but this retracement is very small. So again, this is the higher low, this is the higher low, this will be the only higher low, this won't be the higher low, this can be the higher low on the lower time frames. So let's say altogether this is the chart of 1 hour. Okay, so this over here can the 15-minute structure, because it's small, right? So on the 15 minutes this can be a clean structure. So obviously there might be continuations which might play out over here, but the structure level will obviously be this, which is the higher low on the R1 time frame. Okay, is it getting confusing sometimes?
No, no, no. It's okay.
All right, perfect. So I just wanted to let you know about that, so we can move on forward so that we have more clarity now. So now I'll try to give examples of how the overall structure translates, and or else like transitions, right? So in reality the market will obviously be this. So now this will be the main structure,
Yeah.
because this is the lowest it went before breaking the high. So this is the higher low, because it's like the lowest point this high created before breaking it. Once again, this is the lowest the market went before breaking it. So this point made the lowest point, which is this, before breaking it. So this will be the higher low. This won't be the higher low, right? Because the lowest point will be the higher low. Okay. The lowest
And
point will obviously be the higher low.
if the second higher low is equal or below the first higher low, then like the market
So
goes, yeah,
so if it's like completely equal,
yeah.
then then it will be the same.
Okay. And if it goes below, then market moves up,
So like this, right?
yeah,
So
much
this
more lower than this.
much more lower than this, like breaking this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if it
And then,
breaks, it's no longer bullish. It will be bearish, because that's like a break of structure now.
okay. And if then market moves up,
Okay, if from here the market moves up,
yeah,
okay, fine. So in that case, this happens in a very this happens very rarely, but you will obviously have signs to get in buys there on the lower time frames. So I'll give you an example. So the thing is that, see, as per structure, the 4 hour was this it broke, right? So technically, once it broke, it should have like dropped down, because now it's like a break and it's no longer bullish. But what's happening is now we are obviously getting on this level, right? So when I was here, I wasn't expecting that the price will really like go higher. What I was expecting is a short term buy and a sell. And yesterday, even I was having a session with the guy. I was telling him that I might look for a sell over here, but there was one condition I had, and that's like the rule which we most likely have for selling, is that the 5 minute structure should have been broken. So this was the area where I was telling him that okay, we can look for sells, but at the same time, what was happening is that it was continuously being making new highs. Yeah, and it never broke it. So
Okay.
coming back to the point where we we were expecting sells because the structure broke, but the 5 minute, so based on this was the high and this was the low, and this was like the break. So obviously I was expecting some sells to play out, but at the same time what happened is that 15 minutes, when we go on the 15 minutes now, or else let's say the 5 minutes, so there was like a change over here in the structure. And this was like the New York session, and this was like a good buy. So even though based on the higher time frame we were expecting sells, there was like a lower time frame entry being presented, and uh, that pretty much played out very nicely. And there were multiple entries over here. So even though we might be wrong with expectations, sometimes the lower time frame might give us hints to be right again, which is this, because there was like a free area to just like go up, because there was nothing on the left. If you see, this is all inefficient pricing. So we'll come on these things later on. Inefficient pricing meaning, as you can see, there is like the free flow of the price, right? There is nothing, there is no bullish candle in the middle of a bearish trend to stop prices. Okay, so that's like one way we would have gotten in the buys. So again, now that we see that, okay, fine. And the most important thing is just knowing the trend, which is obviously bearish now. See, and again we are bearish. So
So that
obviously,
that means the structure would always hold. Maybe in the
yeah,
higher frame it gives an illusion that it has broken the higher level or the lower level. But in the smaller frame, you will see the continuation of the structure.
yes, absolutely. Yep, that's right. Okay. So let's go from the external structure, which is the main structure, to the internal structure now. So let's say this is the chart and it's having internal structures in between. So, so let's say this is the internal structure. Okay. So now if we look at this, and if we look at the internal structures, which is like obviously the bearish sides from the high to the lows. So if we try to translate it, since the market structure is bullish in nature because the overall structure is bullish, okay, these counter trends will obviously look bearish. So in the overall higher time frame, since it is bullish in nature, the retracements will be bearish. And break of the previous lower high will be a confirmation that okay, we are just going to make a new higher high, which is this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
that's how the transition of the structure, especially the internal structure, happens. Because in a bullish structure, this will be bullish until and unless we are not breaking the previous higher low. So once the previous higher low is broken, okay,
Yeah.
we can expect sells. So once again, in this example, So this is the internal structure now, and see it's breaking over here, and that's when we get the sign to continue. Once again, we are retracing down, it's breaking it, and it's continuing up. So this repeats itself again and again, and we'll have the entries over here and try to go with the higher time frame order flow. Because when we are entering just on the higher time frame, let's say you're entering over here on the higher time frame now, you'll have a stop loss this big. But once let's say you have a stop loss which is 100, but once you refine that, and now you keep the stop losses based on the lower time frame, that 100 might come down to 30, which might increase your risk reward ratio by almost, I don't know, like 60%. Yeah. So all of this will be the internal structure based on the higher time frame now. Because higher time frame is bullish, but since the lower time frame is retracing downside, that's like the